Some of the breading will come off, but in general, they're frying more evenly. These cook almost instantly, so really all we're going for is color. Alright, our oil's getting super hot, which is good. We're about to do our second fry. Now you can't get your oil way too hot. Like way too hot. You'll drop something in and it'll turn black right away. The thing we use oil the most for is going to be pastries, donuts, crullers, churros, stuff like that. If your oil's too hot, it'll burn the outside and the inside will still be totally raw. Okay, so don't do that. Always test one, that way you know for sure what you're trying to accomplish. Okay, so we can agree these second onion rings look better than these first onion rings, right?
Right.
Season?
When you're frying up a beignet, is that the rice going to be different?
No. Beignet is just it's a denser cake. It's like an actual cake that you fry. But you can use whatever fryer, you can use whatever fat you want. Okay, so but you can see when I do the onion rings with the breading, there's going to be sediment, right? My French fries, no sediment. I can use that oil for a lot longer. You can bring it in, it's fine. Right, but now I have all this sediment on the bottom. When I start frying nuts to candy them or something, I get a ton of sediment. Okay, and then I can never use that oil for anything else. If I use hazelnut oil for French fries, that's a very quick way to kill somebody with allergies. Oh, the French fries, there's no nuts in that. Just nuts in the oil that we fried it with. No big deal, right? It just soaked it all up. So it's got like a nut bath. It's all good. So, watch out. Okay? So now, we're going to bring our fries out, give them the second go. Keep your stuff clean. Right? The fry station is always a disaster, sadly. And again, when you do frying, get used to using chopsticks. Okay? If I drop donuts in here, I don't want to have to fish it out with this giant thing. Okay? Or if I have like tiny little beignets, just get chopsticks. Pick it up, keep on going. Right? Nice and easy. If you use wooden ones, they will disintegrate at some point. So make sure you have like metal ones or really, really nice ceramic ones or something like that. Okay? So, nice and cool. If they're frozen, what I need to watch out for is water content. Water is the opposite of oil. We know that. If I have a ton of water on here, I throw it in there, you're basically putting a bomb inside of your oil. Right? It's going to try and separate while it's simultaneously trying to steam. It's going to become very, very difficult. If you really want to mess someone's day up, throw an ice cube in here when they're sending over it. It's a disaster. And I'm also using much better practice because if they're cold, I would rather this gets popped than my hand be right here and it just explode on my arm. Okay, always wear your sleeves down when you fry. It doesn't matter how miserable it is, it's much better. I've had and I've seen terrible fryer burns. Right? It just disintegrates your skin. And then it takes weeks to fix. Okay? It's a little hot, and I can tell by how fast these are coloring. Right? But they're starting to get that super golden brown. When they float on top, that's nice. We never want it to look burned, ever. Okay? Because if it looks burned, it probably is burned. If it is burned, it probably tastes terrible. Alright? Now, a lot of people go and they chuck these straight in the bowl and they season them. They do need to be drained just a little bit. This is where the basket is superior. You put the basket up here, it drips, it's still staying relatively hot, and then we do that. Okay, I'm going to drain mine briefly, then put them in the bowl, then season them. Salt and pepper is the most common seasoning, but today I'm also going to use a little bit of rosemary, just so you guys can kind of experience that. Because I think it's delicious. And we see obviously our tournaise are struggling, right? But you can also see it takes a while for them to actually burn. Okay, he's been in here for like 2 or 3 minutes by now. Very hot temperature. We've already cooked them once. Right now all we're doing is crisping up that outside skin. Just like with breads, okay, and I have to make this very clear because when students get to my bread class, or any bread class, they're always super panicky about the color. If your bread comes out blonde, okay, just like this potato, it's full of steam. The crust, no matter how thick it is going to get steamed out from the inside, okay? The steam's going to come out, it's going to soften it. So if it's slightly crispy and then it steams out, it's going to be limp as a noodle. Okay, it needs to be like super crispy, that way you actually have a crust after all the steam leaves. Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, chef.
I take all of my breads like black, and students always freak out, and then they taste it and they're like, oh, that's really good. I'm like, yeah, holy cow. It's like I've been doing this for a little bit. Now we can't cut rosemary ahead of time because it blackens really, really badly. Does not look attractive, so we typically have to do small batches to order. And this knife is my pastry knife, so it's not really meant for chopping, as you can tell. I've sharpened it to where it's completely flat, so it doesn't really rock as well as a chef's knife should. Now we're getting some beautiful color on there. But always keep them moving, right? See how I spread them out? If I just toss them all on top of each other, the oil just drips straight into the one right under it, okay? We have to spread it out, that way it's going to kind of drain a little more evenly. Now, if I let them cool too much, the seasoning is just going to fall right off. Okay? So I do have to be conscious of that. That's why you never see a huge thing of fries just sitting around waiting to be seasoned. We drain them briefly, season them, then they sit around. Usually under that giant heat lamp at McDonald's, right? Well, a lot of people like that salt. But it's what makes you drink more Coke. So they sell a lot of Coke that way. But you hear this? Sounds crispy, right? That's a good sign. If they sound not crispy, they probably are not crispy. Now when we season, right? Season high, because we want to evenly distribute it. And we're going to have to toss it, right? We're going to have to toss it, that way we evenly coat it. But it sounds crispy. That's the point. When people make these fries, like when you hand cut fries, a lot of times they only get fried once, and they're not crispy. They come out to you and they're already limp, and they're super brown, right? It's kind of a crime against humanity. Okay, we'll bring the second ones out real fast. If you can't resist, go ahead.
Everyone's like,
It's not an insult, you can take this on. Right now they might be a little salty because I'm planning to add the rest of these.
actually cold in the middle.
We also have to be very careful with the fryer that we don't overload it, because as these start to foam, the foam rises, it goes out, extremely flammable, right? You'll see a lot of flare-ups on the fry station. When I say fry, I don't mean French fry, I mean the frying station.
Mine's cold in the middle.
Did you try it?
No.
So, when you really need to start a fire at your house, best thing you can do, if you have a fireplace, or you just want to burn it down. So the other day we noticed that rosemary is super outrageously strong, right? But how's it on the French fries?
It's good.
Good.
Not bad? It'll do?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm invading your bubble.
Try a tornado. There you go.
Huh?
So try a tornado. Do it.
Okay, which one's hot?
Got hot potato, but
Now, when we have a whole bunch of fries, we fry too many. Okay, we can drop them and re-crisp them up, but you can only do that like once or twice. Then they just get so oil logged, it's like waterlogged, but obviously it's oil, that it becomes pretty disgusting. Okay, so just watch out for that. And you taste how clean the fry is, right? It's brand new oil, it still tastes pretty clean. When I use this for my 10 a.m. class tomorrow, not gonna be nearly as clean. Right? It's gonna be old. Okay, it's still gonna taste cleaner than black, but it's not gonna taste as clean as it could. Now the problem with frying is the smell. When you guys come back in this room, you're gonna be like, ugh, it just reeks of oil, okay? Sadly, that's part of it. Now for potatoes and other vegetables, it's not the end of the world to use older oil, but with your pastries, it's a complete crime. Because your pastry is a sponge. It's exactly what it is. So if you put it in super dirty oil, you're gonna have a super dirty oil sponge, okay? Donuts in old oil, it's just like the worst thing you can serve somebody. So don't do it. Pastry, listen, if you're not in a donut shop, if you're on a station in a restaurant, have your own pot of oil. That's just for pastry, okay? Because guess what else gets fried? Fish sticks, chicken nuggets, all kinds of random stuff. You don't want your donut tasting like a chicken nugget. Okay? I know, listen, I love chicken waffles. I don't want chicken donuts.
Yeah, they will. You can at least try it. So speaking in pastry sense,